Welcome back to LOI TV. I'm Ross.
I'm Griff, and today we're going to be looking at our season predictions. Hope you enjoy.
Okay, well, so we're going to start off in 10th place. Who do you have?
Well, it's a real toss-up in my opinion between Limerick and Bray. However, I feel that with all the financial difficulties Bray are having, there's no one else stopping them from finishing dead last.
Yeah, I agree. I think there'll be those two kind of separated from the rest of the league. Personally, I think Limerick will come bottom. Give Bray a dig out. They haven't been very impressive in the market, and they haven't brought in enough strength in my opinion. I've gone for Bray in the playoff position as well, the second from bottom. I think they'll be quite disappointed with that, but I think it's to be expected.
Okay guys, now we're going to look at the 8th, 7th and 6th place, so the other bottom half teams. Okay, personally in 8th place I'm going for St. Pat's. They had a pretty poor season last season, and I don't think they're going to really improve, especially with newcomers Waterford, who I think will finish in 7th. They're going to surprise a few people. And then I've got Bows in 6th. Bows for me, mid-table team. Hopefully, with a few of their young players, they'll kick on in a few years, but for now I really don't see them finishing in the top half.
For me, I think Sligo haven't been good enough in the transfer market. I can see them becoming 8th. I think they'll be quite tight in the middle of the league this season, but I think Sligo don't really have enough. They're relying a lot on Adam Morgan up front, and I'm not sure if he has the experience just yet. I've gone for Bows in 7th. They'll be a very young team. I think that'll be a decent season for them. I'm not sure what they're expecting from themselves, but I think 7th is a decent position for them. And in 6th I've got newcomers Waterford. I think they've spent well, they've bought well, and they've great fans. They travel very well, and I think it's good things for them this season. 6th will be a good place.
Looking at 5th and 4th place, for me 5th place was a real toss-up between Bows and Sligo, but as I said, Bows, don't think they really have the experience yet. Sligo have a bit of an older team, and I think that Rhys McCabe especially is a really good player, and I think that Sligo are definitely going to finish in that top half in 5th place. In terms of 4th place, for me it has to be Derry. I think they're a good side, but they don't quite have enough to break into that top 3 quite yet. But yeah, I think they're a good side, and I think they'll finish comfortably in 4th position.
For me, I've gone in 5th place, gone Derry. I think they have a decent team, good going forward as well. Rory Pattinson, good striker, scored plenty of goals. And in 4th place, gone for St. Pat's. They've bought well, they've plenty of experience. They're good towards the end of last year. Owen Garvin and Killian Ben made a big difference, and they've bought a couple of good players in. Simon Madden at right back is very impressive, and I can see them having a good year.
Now guys, we have a look at that top 3. For me, there's realistically only 2 teams that can challenge for the title, and they would be Dundalk and Cork. So that leaves Shamrock Rovers in 3rd place. I really don't think they have quite enough yet to break into that top 2 spot, and especially challenge for the title. Maybe in the next few years, especially with young players like Trevor Clark coming through the ranks, they may have enough in the tank, but not quite yet, I don't think, guys. In my opinion, to win the title, it's got to be Dundalk. I mean, by far, in my opinion, especially with the signings they've made over the winter, I think that they've the strongest squad in the league, especially with Cork losing Shawnee Maguire. You could see it at the end of last season, Cork were kind of losing their momentum. And realistically, I think that Dundalk are going to run away with the title this year.
Personally, I disagree with that. I see it being very close to the top 3 this year. I think Shamrock Rovers have strengthened a lot, and I think their young players have another year of experience under their belt. Came 3rd last season, which is a good finish for them. And I personally see Dundalk maybe coming 3rd this year. Might be controversial, might surprise a few, but I personally don't think they've replaced David McMillan. Will be a big loss in front. I know Ronan Murray's come in and he's a good player, but I'm not sure David McMillan was instrumental in their success last few seasons, alongside Patrick McInerney, who'd be also a big loss. I've gone for Shamrock Rovers in 2nd place, and Cork City to win the league again. I think Cork just have enough about them. I think Patrick Cummins will be a good replacement for Sean Maguire up front. I think it'll allow Kieran Sadlier. I think he's going to have a big year this year. Very, very good winger, and I think they'll just nick it at the end. I think it'll be very close though.
Now looking at the FAI Cup, which obviously in the last few years has been dominated by Dundalk and Cork. This year I'm looking at an outside show, and I reckon Shamrock Rovers could have a decent run in the Cup, and I reckon they could lift it. So that's my favourite for the year. Yeah,
I agree they'll have a decent run in the Cup as well, but personally I can see Pats having a good run as well. Dundalk and Cork will always be sniffing around, but I think Pats could have a good shout this year, especially to give up on the league a little bit, mid-table finish. You could have a good run in the Cup and maybe go all the way.
Now looking at top goal scorer, so I think there's only realistically one player for me who's going to do that, and that's Ronan Murray. On top of Ronan Murray being top goal scorer, I think that he's probably favourite to win Player of the Year. It's either him or Michael Duffy, the midfielder from Dundalk as well, in my eyes, who realistically are the only 2 players who are going to win Players of the Year.
Personally, I see top goal scorer being between 2 or 3 people. I see Ron Murray being up and around there as well. But I can see if Christy Fagan can stay fit at St. Pat's, I think he'll have a good season. He's very clinical, probably one of the most clinical strikers in the league, but has injury problems. That could be his downfall. As well as that, Patrick Cummins coming back from St. Johnstone to Cork. He scored 24 goals in his last spell with Cork, and that led to him win the title. So I could see it being a similar story this year. 29 years old, coming into his prime. I think he could have a good year. Best player of the season for me. Toss up between, I think Brandon Mealy could have a big year. Shamrock Rovers, if they come second, that'd be a big season for them, and he'd be a crucial part of that number 10 role.
Now looking at Young Player of the Year, which I do feel has a few candidates hopefully this year. There's definitely a lot of young talent coming through the League of Ireland. For me, there's 3 players which really stand out. One of them is Trevor Clark for Rovers. Had a really good season last season at Rovers, and hopefully he can kick on this year. And then there's 2 from Bohemians. I really like Bo's young squad. I think they really have a lot of talent coming through. I'm not sure if they'll be able to kick on that much this year, but I do think that Darragh Leahy at left back is going to have a big season. And personally, my nominee for the Young Player of the Year has to be Jay Lunny. Jay had a really good season last season. Towards the end with St. Pat's, made 22 appearances and really showed a lot of promise. So I think it's a big signing for Bows, and hopefully if he has a good season, I think he will win Young Player of the Year.
Yeah, personally I see those 3 having a good season, but a couple of other people I see as well. I see Ronan Curtis at Derry, Ireland under 21 international, very talented player, and looking to add a few more goals to his game this season. It's so good to see the league full of young Irish players, and it's just the future's bright for the boys in green. Boom! There you have it, guys. Our season predictions. Leave us a comment saying how wrong we're going to be, and also leave your predictions in the comments.
Please leave a like, guys. It's really appreciated. Obviously, hit that subscribe button. It's really appreciated. It really encourages us to do videos, and it's only a few hours to the start of the Electricity League, so
we are so excited. Players, and it's just the future's bright for the boys in green.
Now looking at the FA Cup,